Right now, thousands of miles from land, one single person is responsible for a $13 billion floating fortress, 2 nuclear reactors, and enough firepower to alter global history. Most people imagine a carrier captain living in absolute prestige and comfort, issuing orders from a spacious wood-paneled office and enjoying elite military privileges. But the reality is a psychological and physical pressure cooker. Imagine leading a floating city of 5,000 personnel, where a single wrong decision at 2 in the morning could trigger an international crisis or a massive disaster with absolutely no backup. What does a life like that actually look like? The answer is nothing like what you see in the movies. Before understanding a captain's routine, we need to understand what commanding a modern aircraft carrier truly involves. By law, the commanding officer must be a qualified naval aviator or naval flight officer. That requirement alone eliminates most Navy officers from ever being considered. The captain sits at the top of the chain of command. Every decision, success, and failure traces back to him. He is ultimately responsible for everything involving the ship, the mission, and every person on board. While he relies on experienced department heads, final authority rests with him alone. There is no one to call when something goes wrong. The captain makes the call with incomplete information and lives on the line. An aircraft carrier functions as a self-contained military base operating around the clock. The ship never stops. Flight operations continue through the night. Engineering teams monitor nuclear reactors without rest. Intelligence officers track threats constantly. The captain must be aware of all of it. The ship has departments run by commanders overseeing navigation, engineering, combat systems, supply, air operations, medical, and intelligence. These department heads report through the executive officer, the captain's second in command. Yet even with this structure, the captain remains ultimately accountable. Here is something most people never consider. The captain holds authority over thousands of people, yet he is completely alone when making the final call. The captain's accommodations serve one purpose: keeping him as close as possible to where he needs to be. Unlike what most imagine, the captain does not have one comfortable cabin. He has 2 distinct living spaces, each serving a different purpose. But here's the interesting part. The sea cabin is the most important space during active operations. This small room sits adjacent to the bridge, allowing the captain to reach command central within seconds during emergencies. The sea cabin is deliberately Spartan, containing just a bunk, a desk, and basic toilet facilities. Some compare it to a closet with just enough room for essentials. This cabin prioritizes proximity over comfort because when something goes wrong at 2 in the morning, the captain cannot waste time traveling across the ship. The in-port cabin serves a different function. This main cabin is more comfortably furnished, with a separate bedroom and sitting room. Beyond living quarters, it serves as a ceremonial space for distinguished guests and welcoming new sailors aboard. Both cabins serve the captain's needs, but neither exists as a reward for rank. Every space is designed around operational necessity. However, the crew lives in vastly different conditions. Enlisted sailors sleep in berthing compartments where racks are stacked 3 high, with 40 people sharing a single room. The captain has privacy, but that privacy comes with constant availability. Having private accommodations does not mean a comfortable lifestyle. The captain's spaces are not privileges. They are tools of the job. But even with these spaces, how does the captain function when sleep is a luxury and meals face constant interruption? If you respect the dedication it takes to command a ship like this, type "respect" in the comments. Ordinary daily routines change completely once someone commands an aircraft carrier. The captain's meals, rest, and personal time are shaped by the ship's operational schedule, not personal preference. There are no set meal times, no guaranteed sleep schedule. Every part of the day centers on maintaining readiness. The captain typically eats in the formal wardroom, though he sometimes grabs a quick meal where aircrew eat in their flight suits. But here's what most people miss. A personal chef prepares meals for the captain and guests, using fresh ingredients that are hard to find at sea. Even during meals, the captain is never fully off duty. Discussions about operational readiness continue over food. Interruptions are normal, not exceptional. Sleep is even more complicated. The captain stays constantly available rather than aiming for specific hours. He sleeps in his sea cabin just steps from the bridge. His phone sits next to the bed, and the executive officer has standing orders to wake him for any significant development. Equipment failures, weather changes, or any situation requiring judgment can interrupt sleep at any moment. One former captain described sleeping in short stretches, never feeling fully rested during deployment. These routines show that even the most basic parts of everyday life center on maintaining readiness. The captain does not eat when hungry. He eats when the schedule allows. He does not sleep when tired. He sleeps when operations permit. Every choice is secondary to the mission. But if the captain's personal life is this demanding, what does his actual workday look like? A typical operational day begins before sunrise. The captain reviews overnight reports covering incidents, equipment failures, weather changes, and fleet updates. By the time most of the crew wakes up, he has already worked for hours. The morning briefing follows, with reports from more than 20 department heads. Updates come in from engineering, operations, supply, the air department, safety, and communications, each covering its specific area of responsibility. His role involves supervision, coordination, and final authority rather than performing tasks personally. He does not fly planes or operate catapults. He ensures those who do have what they need. Flight operations represent the most visible part of his day. During peak operations, aircraft launch every 90 seconds. Each launch requires coordination between dozens of crew members, the air boss, and the captain monitoring from the bridge. The captain does not control each launch directly, but he is called the moment anything deviates. Beyond flight operations, he reviews intelligence reports, handles disciplinary cases, promotes personnel, and communicates with higher command through daily video conferences. These calls connect him to the entire chain of command, reaching the Chief of Naval Operations and the Secretary of Defense. The captain must balance mission objectives with crew safety while accounting for changing weather, operational demands, and unexpected situations. Whether facing an aircraft emergency or an approaching storm, the captain relies on incomplete information and hard-earned experience. His primary responsibility is maintaining awareness of the entire ship while ensuring every department operates together safely and effectively. Constant responsibility affects the captain mentally, physically, and personally throughout deployment. The pressure of carrying responsibility for thousands of people never stops. Making critical decisions under time constraints becomes routine, but the weight never becomes lighter. The captain must remain calm during emergencies, while knowing every major decision can have lasting consequences. The isolation of command is something few understand. Although supported by experienced officers, the final responsibility cannot be shared. There is no one above him except the embarked rear admiral, who commands the strike group but does not run the carrier. When something happens, the captain answers for it. No one can take that weight. In American naval history, multiple carrier captains have been relieved because something went wrong that they should have prevented through better leadership. The standard is deliberately brutal because when you put thousands of people on a nuclear-powered vessel carrying armed aircraft into contested waters, the tolerance for leadership failure must be zero. The captain's life is not defined by authority or comfort. It is defined by continuous readiness. Every aspect of life on board centers on leading the ship safely and accomplishing the mission. From the Spartan sea cabin, to interrupted meals, to hours of sleep snatched between emergencies, everything serves the same purpose. The captain lives in constant alertness because the people depending on him cannot afford anything less. That is the reality of command.